This is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and today I'm going to interview a new doctor that moved to Paradise, in this particular instance, 𝗤𝗎𝐻 in the Philippines. But after I interviewed him, I realized there was something unusual that I also needed to talk about, and that's this idea that he's a professional that moved to Paradise before retirement age. That opens up a whole idea that I haven't really talked about on this channel much, in that for people that have specialized knowledge, you may be able to move to Paradise somewhere in the world where they don't have that specialized knowledge and practice your profession, whereas others may not be able to get a work permit. So that's kind of what. So there's two things. One is for you to meet this doctor, American doctor in the Philippines, and then he'll also talk about how you might be able to get a, if you will, a work permit to work or to start your own business in Paradise before retirement age. Now, in this case, he's talking about the Philippines, but there are countries all over the world in Paradise that have these sorts of rules that would let you come with specialized knowledge. All right, let's welcome him on the channel. This is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and today we feel very lucky to have Dr. Scott on the channel with us. Dr. Scott?
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the channel.
Love it.
Dr. Scott is a chiropractic physician here in Darwin, which is just outside of 𝗤𝗎𝐻 in the Philippines, and that is a pleasure. Believe me, I've traveled the world, and as you know, you cannot find a chiropractor all the time, and they are, for me, a very important part of life, and have been over the years for me. So thank you so much for being here, and thanks for being on, coming on the channel and talking about it.
This is an island of 2.5 million people, and we have 2 chiropractors, myself and my partner, here, which is crazy given the need of chiropractic to avoid one of the greatest pains human bodies suffer, joint and muscle pain.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Well, so you're in Darwin in the Philippines. What brought you here? What said, I'm leaving the U.S.?
Yeah. So now there's a new college opening up called the University of Makati, and there's going to be a chiropractic program there. And I'll be helping both with curriculum development and teaching. I've written a number of textbooks on chiropractic, many papers, and you see a lot of awards around here. And so I was hired really to come to the Philippines, and because I'd already made my fortune in chiropractic in the United States, I served in Colorado for 25 years, I could afford to come here and work less. I'm seeing patients in the clinic 3 days a week, and still doing a lot of writing. I'm an editor for the Asia Pacific Chiropractic Journal. It's a very important journal, has a huge following, especially having an influence in Asia for a chiropractic profession. And that journal allows me to continue to have a worldwide influence in chiropractic while staying on a relatively small island, which I moved to because it's so gorgeous. You know how Darwin is. It's the greatest shoreline in the world in some ways. I live on the beach. The life here is very, very peaceful and restorative. My friends in the U.S. say I look 15 years younger since I moved here.
Wow, great. So Darwin is known for its marine sanctuary and its diving. Are you a diver?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, that's enough reason to come.
Yeah. One of my dive instructors is 𝗂𝐿, who is the Silliman University oceanographer, or used to be. He's an extraordinary writer, many, many books, and he and I are constantly diving, and it's just blown my mind how gorgeous Apple Island is and the shoreline here. I can even dive in my front yard. My yard is right on the ocean, and there's coral there, so I have a very paradisical life now.
You're not just a chiropractor, you're a Palmer grad, which in my mind is the best chiropractic school in the world, and you're also an author, and I was just here watching you adjust one of your patients, and it was a way I had not seen before. So tell us a little bit about your methodology and why it's so effective, and and you've written books about it, and you're published and respected within the chiropractic community.
Well, the neurology of the human body works in 2 ways. There's a sensory nervous system that feels things, and there's a motor nervous system that does things. And both of them are combined in the same nerve. The nerve sheaths have both motor and sensory fibers in the majority. And so motor nerve testing, accurate muscle testing, can guide the physician precisely to the nerves that are malfunctioning, impaired, injured in patients. And so I test all the muscles in the human body on a patient's first visit, figure out where their problems are, and immediately begin to restore them through chiropractic work. Applied kinesiology, this system of chiropractic that I practice, is one of the most advanced systems on earth because it employs muscle testing to figure out motor, sensory, cranial, acupuncture, nutritional problems in the human body. So many things are reflected through the muscle system. And by testing muscles, the doctor can become very close to the way the brain itself is functioning. The expression of the brain is primarily motion. And most of the information the brain is getting about the world is in muscle spindles, muscle receptors. So the system of muscle testing allows the physician to become very intimate with the patient's nervous system and their problems. And so that's why I chose to do it, because it's complicated and it's very interesting. And as you saw, we did a lot of different things for the previous patient's problem, and he walked out feeling much better.
If you would like to learn how I fired my boss and traveled the world for 16 years and how I pay for things, grab a free copy of my ebook.
This is Dr. George Goodhart, the founder of Applied Kinesiology. And I celebrate his life by carrying this around with me wherever I go. He was my teacher, essentially. And he found that there is something that we can do to your body to figure out, without treating it, whether or not the treatment is going to be effective for the neurology, in your case, of this right psoas weakness. Watch. This is called challenge. I'm going to pull your hip forward in a certain direction. Watch what happens. Hold this up. You see how that turns on the muscle?
Yeah.
Makes you stronger. So that is a challenge. You have a sacroiliac joint problem. It's probably because you're almost 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And as a tall woman and as a model, you've had all kinds of issues in your feet, your knees, and your hip. So later on, we'll adjust your right hip and it'll immediately strengthen that psoas, which in many people's cases gets rid of their back pain.
Thank you, doctor.
Amazing.
And usually, chiropractic, the kind that I practice, it only takes a few visits to get the patient corrected. Once they are corrected, then they like you do, to come back for permanent improvement in their physical health.
I don't know, I can feel the energy in my body, and I can feel it flowing more consistently.
Yes.
When my back is lined up.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's about quality of life.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not in pain, I still feel like my energy level and my perception is higher, and my awareness of my surroundings is pronounced.
Yes.
When my back is lined up. So.
And there's only 103,000 chiropractors on planet Earth. We're the third largest healing profession. Medicine, dentistry, chiropractic is third. We have chiropractors in almost 90 countries around the world. Almost 50 countries around the world support with private and public insurance chiropractic. In other words, the governments of those countries have recognized the value of chiropractic. But here in the Philippines, there's only 50 chiropractors.
Wow.
And on this island of 2.5 million people, there's 2 chiropractors. And the need is overwhelming. Everybody who stands up, bipedal human beings, need chiropractic to stay healthy and be pain-free. Because back pain is the biggest disabler of human life. Nothing else, no other condition, not even toothaches, are worse than chiropractic for human functionality. More people drop out of life, become sedentary because of back pain than any other conditions. Touch there again. Touch here. The phrenic nerve, C3, 4, 5, keeps your diaphragm alive. Those 3 joints are malfunctioning and irritating the nerve that controls your diaphragm. Keep your hand there. Breathe in again. Breathe out. So when you touch your neck like that, it helps with the weakness of the diaphragm test. So I'm going to adjust your neck, which will really help you with this pain you have on the left side. And you're going to find, boy, my heartburn with the zinc and the correction you did got rid of my bloating in about 3 days, probably. Lift up. Hold it. Uh-oh. Deep flexors. Hold it. You're lucky you don't have headaches.
Yeah.
The International Headache Society says that the deep flexor muscles are the biggest predictor of headaches in human beings. No other physical sign except deep neck flexor weakness will predict a headache patient. And you've got deep flexor weakness, but you don't have headaches, which is great.
Not that much.
Hold it. Good, that one's fine. This is the biggest muscle of your neck, works well. Hold it. This one's weak. So the phrenic nerve is irritating both your deep flexors and your sternoklavimastoid on the left. Lift again. Hold it. Good. Watch this. Magic is about to happen for you. With your eyes open, look left. The bottom of the phrenic nerve is C5. Look right. Open your mouth. Okay, touch there again. Breathe in. Breathe out.
Wow.
Now, let's see if the deep flexors are happy now.
Look at
Lift
her.
up. Hold it. Beautiful. Turn. Hold it. Okay, now there's another problem in the head. I need to help you with that. Is it the left side that hurts?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's already hurt on that side.
Lift again. Turn. Hold it. Good. This is called a cranial correction neck problem. Her cranial nerve 11 that controls the left side of her neck is disturbed because of something that happened to her head, either in birth or concussion. Have you ever fallen on your head? You're so tall. You ever tumble off a stage with high heels on?
Oh, yeah.
Supermodels. The things they suffer.
The World Health Organization has estimated a global shortage of 7.2 million healthcare workers, resulting in large gaps in service provision for people with disabilities around the world. The Philippines has only 70 chiropractors in the country, most of them in the Manila area, and that translates to 1.6 million people for every chiropractor in this country, an inexcusable and very worrisome number for the spinal and natural health care approaches for the Philippine people. The total number of chiropractors worldwide is approximately 103,000 doctors. The profession is represented in 90 countries, but the distribution of chiropractors and chiropractic educational institutions and governing legislations and regulations largely favor the high-income countries.
It's a broader concept I was hoping maybe you could help me with, and that's this idea that, in general, if I was a car mechanic or some job that any Filipino could do, it would be harder for me to move to the Philippines and try to do work, because I would be possibly displacing someone if I got a work permit, someone that could already do the work in the Philippines as a foreigner, and that's not a favorable position for any politician or legislature in the Philippines to do for their people. But there are people like yourself who have these specialties that countries like to attract, and because not only do they know how to do something that the Filipinos need is not available in the Philippines, but it also presents a possibility that there could be, some could become teachers, and they could, if you will, through journeymen or universities, they could teach these specialties to the locals, so there would be more job opportunities in the Philippines. What is that path? And forgive me, I did a little reading before our call, but is there a path for someone with a specialty like that that's unrepresented, not just chiropractors, but in general, where if they have that kind of expertise, it's underrepresented in these around the world? There's a special kind of visa, work visa, you can get in those cases, isn't there?
Yes. In the Philippines, the SRRV visa allows me to both work and to live here in an extended way. I'm a adopted worker in this country. The Philippines is letting me, because of my skills and my working, letting me have a permanent visa. So I'm a permanent resident here, and that's possible, very easy to get. The Philippine Retirement Authority is very, very helpful. I can't tell you, they've been so good and easy for my renewals, for getting my SRRV. All of that is very easy in the Philippines. The government really wants skilled workers from abroad to move here. But the problem with that is that makes the Philippines depend upon foreigners for their professional healthcare service. And that's not what we want. We want the Philippines to have Filipino chiropractors. And that's the reason I moved here originally, was to help a chiropractic college in the Philippines to open and train Filipinos to become chiropractors themselves.
That's great. And so in a general sense, if someone has a specialized knowledge and they are interested in moving somewhere like the Philippines, and they are still of working age and still desire to help people like you do, did you contact a visa agent, or what's the pathway they could go to find out whether or not their specialty is something that would be permitted in the Philippines?
Yes, there are many chiropractors already here who both seek chiropractors, and there's many, there's at least two in Manila, chiropractic colleges that are opening soon, and they seek doctors to come and help them open and teach and practice. And so it isn't difficult, if you're a chiropractor anyhow, to find a role in this country. Both the visa process and the need for chiropractors, as I mentioned before, there's 1.6 million Filipinos for every chiropractor that is presently in this country. We need a lot more chiropractic for the number of spine, joint, muscle, musculoskeletal dysfunction that occurs here. My practice is already very busy, and I've only been here for 12 months, essentially.
That makes sense. And so in a more general sense, though, Doctor, is there other professions that maybe not just in medical care, but other specialties that the Philippines would be underrepresented in terms of people who know how to do it or are willing to train it, that can get these sort of special allowances for working and for teaching in the Philippines? And if so, do they follow that same path?
I'm certain that's true.
And
you can get those visas for working overseas in paradise in a heavenly environment easily. It's not hard. If I can do it, anyone can.
And so if someone had another profession, maybe even not even in healthcare, is there someone you'd recommend they contact to see whether or not there's a specialty that's needed in the Philippines?
You bet. The Philippine Retirement Authority, PRA, they can be found easily online, has a very great office in Cebu City and in Manila. The Cebu City office is the one I use and know the most about, but they are extremely effective and quick and responsive. You write them a letter, they're writing you back within a day, and they give you all the details of acquiring a work visa in the Philippines.
There's 48 chiropractic colleges around the world in 19 different countries. We're really becoming more and more established, and we're only 125 years old as a profession.
Yeah. So in fact, it was, I think Palmer was the first, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that he started the Palmer University.
That's
where
right.
You'd gone to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why it's the gold standard.
The Harvard of chiropractic colleges.
Yeah.
So they say.
So you're from the United States. What part? Where did you grow up?
Southern California.
Okay.
Yeah. So I grew up in a environment much like the Philippines, just the other side of the Pacific Ocean. So you have California, and then you have the great vast Pacific Ocean, biggest ocean in the world, and then you have the Philippines. So I'm on the other side at the ending of my life as I was at the beginning of my life.
So what have you noticed about the quality of life, or the difference maybe since coming over here?
So 4 years I've been living full-time in the Philippines. There's a botanical magic to the Philippines that makes a person susceptible to nature extremely happy. I find the sea and the land and the mountains, the skies, and the beautiful, beautiful people. The Filipino people are some of the most beautiful people in the world. Just delicate, sensitive, funny, interactive, friendly, just wonderful people. And I find that interacting with Filipinos, as I do in my practice, and that's one reason I stay in practice, I still want to engage with the world that I live in. I could just live in my beach house and just go into full retirement, but I don't need that. I don't need to work. I'm doing it because I still have a love of service and helping people who are sick get well.
I'll put a link in the notes below this YouTube video and in the comments to Scott's resume and his office if you need treatment, and contact a visa agent anywhere in the world or the PRA in the Philippines if you're interested in knowing if your specialty can get a work permit. Thanks for listening. This is Dan of Vagabond Awake. As I travel around the world, I write these retired cheap in paradise reports. They include links to where we stayed, restaurants, cheap public markets, expensive grocery stores, transportation information, internet speeds, visa information, weather, and other information. All of this information saves time when you are doing your exploratory visits to identify your own personal paradise destination. We spend hours collecting and preparing this information so you don't have to. Click the first link in the notes below this video to get an idea of what I'm talking about. Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.